Here's the Monday version of This Week in Warcraft. Hey, it's Soul, and you can support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catching me live on Twitch. The War Within pre-expansion patch drops next week, so there's a bit of urgency. In a blue post, the team didn't specify exactly when the season ends, which is important because that's tied directly to the Awaken raid achievements. When the season does end, it won't be possible to earn PvP seasonal rewards, titles, or Dragonflight Season 4 ranks that should translate to the Mythic Plus rankings. However, most Mythic Plus achievements and rewards will remain earnable at least for a time. That includes the likes of Keystone Master and Hero, the Portal unlocks as well, so a big sigh of relief on my part, yeah. This week is a Vault of the Incarnates week, and maybe your last chance at earning the Awaken achievements for completing the raid on each difficulty. While you're out and about doing the last hurrah quest, consider what sorts of rewards you have yet to collect around the outdoor content. Now, I have in mind stuff like the Renowned Quartermasters, like have you collected everything from those? Crafted gear has its own unique color appearance. And how are you looking on the Dragon manuscripts? I've been trying to get fuzzy ears for my Wilderdrick All expansion, and I'm pretty close to giving up hope. Classic Ashran is the brawl for this week, and I guess the stars lined up. Warlord's Time Walking is also happening. Get ready to slam to the dungeons of someone's favorite expansion for a crack at champion gear if you complete 5. And over in Mythic Plus World, the affixes are Tyrannical and Incorporeal, and for keys 10 and higher, Spiteful. Yes, Spiteful. That's much harder for me to misread, and I'm sorry for last week's error. So how's it feel, Incorporeal? You managed to last almost a full expansion before getting scuttled, and yet, spoiler alerts, we're going to see Incorporeal one more time in the final week of Dragonflight. Hooray! Incorporeal sucks in pretty much every scenario, so make sure they get CC'd super quick. Meanwhile, this is the last time we'll see Spiteful before it's retired, so hey, pour one out for our ghost bros, and we'll see you next time when we least expect you. Speaking of, the Great Push competition will conclude later this week as well, with teams competing starting May 17th through the 19th for over $300,000 in prize money. Okay, you're here to learn everything there is to know about the Warband Bank, which I'm just going to call the Warbank, so here goes. The Warbank will be available day 1 of the pre-patch. It's accessible in any instance where you can open a bank, whether it's the city, or Jeeves, or your Argent Squire, or Gruntling, all of those. You'll also get a questline to go to Tanaris, and this lets you access your banks. It has a 4-hour cooldown by default, but it can be brought down to 2 hours after earning the quintessential Quintet achievement, which you might have done as early as the Mist of Pandaria days. To unlock the Warbank, you gotta throw down some gold. 1,000 gold for the first tab, 25,000 for the second, 100,000 for the third, 500,000 for the fourth, and 2.5 million for the fifth. The Warbank is account shared storage with a sprinkle of automation attached to it, and in a little bit I'll show you how that works. The easy way to understand the functionality of the bank is, if an item is not tagged as soulbound, it can go into the Warbank. You can see that there's a button down there to deposit all Warbound items, and by that, it means it'll deposit only items that have the specific Warband tag. By checking this box here to include tradable reagents, now pressing this button will also deposit all profession reagents that can be used for crafting, whether it's basic materials like leather, or items that are part of production like ink, or bolts of cloth, alloy, that sort. Unlike the local reagent bank you have on your character, this button won't pull from your bank, it'll only pull items from your bags. But you can manually move items between your bank tabs by simply selecting an item from one tab and moving over to another. When crafting, the game will pull items from your storages using the following priority, starting with your bag, then the personal reagent bag, then the war bank, the reagent bank, and finally the regular bank. You can deposit gold in here as well, with its purpose to be mostly transferring it between characters. It's a little bit weird. Part of me wonders why gold isn't just part of the currency transfer feature also coming in the patch, but I'm going to save my copium for other questions. The muscle behind the Warbank lies with its customizable tabs. You can give it the usual riz with changing the name and the display icon, but you'll probably want to utilize the powerful filters to customize the behavior of the bank, because it's way more than just a different looking guild bank. If you select an item from your inventory and drop it into the bank directly, you're going to override any of the filtering that you might have set up. But when right-clicking items or pressing the big red button, it's going to try to follow these logic-based rules that you set up. We're going to start from the top though. When the Warbank is not configured at all, here's what happens. Right-clicking or hitting the big red button will drop items in a normal pattern, from top to bottom, left to right behavior. Unlike the guild bank though, it doesn't matter which bank tab you have selected. Even if you have the second, third, or fifth tab selected, if you hit the button or right click to deposit, it's going to send the item to the first empty slot in the topmost tab. Now this can result in a very messy bank, which is why you want to use the bag filters to keep you organized. You can set a tab to only take in items from the current expansion, and add additional filters to assign a tab to, for example, hold all the War Within Profession goods and Warbound gear. Trying to deposit an herb by right-clicking or hitting the big red button will make the herb skip this tab and move into the next tab that does not have restrictions. If for some reason all bags are restricted, like if the expansion filter is set to current only on all bags, it'll still pull this piece of old transmog gear when you hit the big button because it is warbound and you can't filter it out. So what I'll do is offer some examples and tips for the pre-patch, and let's assume that you have at most 3 tabs, which will set you back 126,000 gold. First up to point out, when changing settings, you cannot make multiple changes across multiple tabs at once. You need to save your settings by hitting the OK button before switching to another tab. I made this mistake a whole bunch of times, so I want to stop you folks from doing the same. Your first tab can be the one that you'll be the most hands-on with dropping things in for your main or your alt to later pick up. I suggest filtering for the current expansion, but not now because you don't have any items from what will soon be the current expansion. So for the time being, we'll leave this alone and assign to this tab equipment and consumables, I guess if you want to share things across your alts easily. The second tab can be for your professions, so assign reagents and profession goods to this tab. Unless you're using multiples of the same professions, you shouldn't be looking at this tab all too much. Profession reagents like ink or cloth bolts are more than likely to stay with the character who's using them, but if you're using multiple characters for the same profession, well, all bets are off. You just may need to manually move these items in. You'll just want to check in on this tab every now and then for profession materials you're no longer using. The bottommost tab, regardless of how many tabs you actually have, doesn't really need any filter. This is where any of the excess or unsorted stuff goes that you probably need to sort out manually or send to other characters for long-term storage or sell off. In most situations, I don't recommend depositing items that aren't reagents or warbound, as in, just random stuff. It'll become easy to forget and it'll end up taking up lots of space. Even then, items like reagents for the protoform synthesis or the Naxxramas crafting activities, maybe you'll be doing them, but they can also take up a lot of space really quickly. In case you are working with legacy and other items regularly, well, maybe that first tab can be reconfigured to be independent from any automation, and you can manually place the items that you want in there. To secure that, check the ignore this tab box, and that way even cleaning up the bank won't affect anything here. That clean up bank button, by the way, is for when you change the settings and want to see those new changes reflected. The big takeaway for now though, just play with the bank, one character at a time, and tweak your settings as you make a game plan for yourself. That's going to be it for now, but I'll have more profession guides and more in the works as we get ready for the pre-patch. I hope that they help and that we get tons of feedback so they can get even better. Please like the video, subscribe for more coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Let's have Bob close us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
Hey look, it's a new month, come and join me. We're gonna do collecties. Cause tender is my breakfast, tender's what I breathe. Tender is the loot I collect from the corpses. Tender's running through my veins, tender's both my pleasure and pain. It's like coffee, tender's in my cup. Suddenly it's not cause I bought things. Check me on my badass broomstick mount. Got my tender than your mama can count. Done.